The anime industry is not exactly the youngest thing out there, as we all know. It has churned out countless series with so many different premises that it would be hazardous to my health to even try to list them all. There have been great successes and great failures, each setting a standard for what people like or don't like. Hello everyone, this is the RPG Monger, and keeping in mind everything I just said, after all of this time, have anime plots really become lazy, falling prey to the easy route of just doing what has already been done? Well, today, I want to see if that really is the case. As I said, the anime industry is nowhere near young, and as a result, to level with you all here for a second, in the textbook sense, the odds that the anime you are watching right now is completely original without taking at least some elements, tropes, or even inspiration from another anime is practically 0 to none. Any way you slice it, that's just how it works. Though that isn't exactly what I want to focus on today. As long as you do those things in moderation, then the anime will remain as original as ever. It's when anime will use these things as molds for their story, characters, or even premise. What is supposed to only be a guideline becomes a cheap cash-in, and never has it not been done to a certain extent. In more recent years, however, have more and more anime been doing this? If not me, I have seen many people express this exact sentiment, and to that, I do not have a very definitive answer, as you really can't have one in this kind of situation. It's not a matter of more anime becoming lazy, but a matter of just more anime in general, thus letting there be more unique anime and more lazy anime. But something I will say is that those lazy anime have really only gotten lazier, to the point where it is frankly annoying that they even exist in the first place. So let me just go over some of the tactics they use, because for some of these, I really don't see many people even talking about them in the first place. Alright, so do not get me wrong, I absolutely love parody anime, with Gintama being one of my favorite anime out there. Though Gintama and anime like it are one thing. It's when you'll have certain anime who will use out of place and poorly timed references to other works in the medium as a cheap way of getting watchers to stay and not leave due to the overall mediocre show. Because like some other cliched plot points I'll be going over soon, it's honestly just insulting that this is all they think is needed to have people keep watching their anime. It especially irks me when the plot isn't exactly the most comedic out there, and to make up for it, they just cram in these kinds of things. But that isn't the end of it. Believe me, I wish this was the only cheap tactic that was used. One step down on the ladder of garbage is everyone's favorite, surprise fan service. And I'm not just talking about ecchi anime where it rightfully belongs. I'm talking about shit like random panty shots in the middle of a fight, or just an anime whose characters are all relatively normal except for one girl, who if real, would have relatively serious back problems. Like before, why actually focus on making memorable and unique characters when you can just make the exact same characters 100 times over, and still have a certain choice audience eat it up? I swear, it seems like we get a light novel adaptation every season that is more or less the exact same anime over and over. But for clarification's sake, let me just say this. Fanservice, when used in shows like Monster Musume, for example, is perfectly fine, as that show knows what it's doing, and for the most part, its viewers aren't exactly there for the plot. Fanservice where it doesn't belong is really the epitome of laziness, as it really isn't necessary. There are plenty of anime that would still be very successful, if not more so, if they just would not do this. Though that's just about all I can handle talking about these garbage tactics. Next, I want to focus on characters, one of the most integral things to any story in general. Unlike before, however, making a character unique and in-depth isn't exactly the easiest thing, and can be quite a bit of work, but to make a character even remotely interesting, on the other hand, really does take a lot of effort. Though, of course, what do so many anime end up doing? Just exactly what's been done before, but worse. Overpowered characters. I swear, these can kill an anime for me so fast. Take for example Bad Anime Online, with the poster boy for overpowered main characters, Kirito. Him and all the main characters like him damage their shows way more than you realize, because right then and there, it basically eliminates all potential character growth that could be had. Because think about it, if they would have just taken the time to flesh out a character somewhat, and maybe have him become overpowered at the end instead of all the way through, then the character could actually be a bit more likable. In fact, speaking of characters being likable, why is it that there are just so many anime that make characters with only one single trait that defines them? I mean, come on, it's not that hard. Look at Toradora. There, you have a tsundere who actually has other character traits and feels like a real person instead of just a tsundere. Part of it comes from the large amounts of light novels we get adapted every season, and on that level, I guess it's understandable, but I swear, if I see another plain otaku main character whose only traits are being an otaku and or perverted, I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. Now, what you've all been waiting for, with all of the things I've mentioned up until now, the plot of the anime. The most important part is also the easiest to completely blow off, unfortunately. Tell me, how many times have you seen a romantic school anime? Now tell me, out of all of those anime, how many were actually unique and interesting? At least for me, the number drastically decreases. And it wouldn't even be because of the setting, but because the stories are nearly exactly the same, with the same kind of everyday comedy you'd expect out of a school. Oh, and don't get me started on all of the anime where the protagonist finds himself in a magical, mystical RPG game-esque world, with a full harem appearing out of thin air. I swear, even Konosuba makes fun of this lazy cliche in one of its episodes. Like, I'm not even joking. We have one of those anime this season as well. It just goes to show how rampant this kind of stuff has been in the last decade. But out of them all, probably the worst overused and lazy cookie cutter plot that I've ever seen, that I don't know about you, but annoys me to no end, is all of the harems that get forced into anime of all genres. Like, you thought harems could only thrive in a school setting or maybe even slice of life? Well, not at all. It has crawled its way into all kinds of genres, leaving a slimy trail of bad anime in its wake. Like, take a look at Chaos Head and its sequel Chaos Child. Among a plethora of other mistakes, with Chaos Child being slightly better than its forefather, the harem that is crammed into this anime really takes away focus from the actual psychological plot of the show that might have actually been somewhat engaging. If not for both of the harems consisting of every sane girl that is in every harem you'll see in anime, I would go further into detail on that too, but there are way better videos out there that could do that, honestly. Way better than I could ever do it. In fact, I'd even say that Chaos Head is the textbook example of something that might have been good if not for all of the lazy things that weigh it down. Like a useless protagonist whose only characteristics are being scared and guess what? An otaku. Because nothing will ever get me more attached to a character than a legitimate loser who has no character development whatsoever. So now, time to settle the age-old question that was the driving force of the video. Have anime plots been getting more lazy? And as I said earlier, that would be a yes and a no. But don't click away immediately, your watching this video was not futile. As there have always been lazy anime, but with the increase in light novel adaptations every year, I will say that a good portion of those have increased the amount of lazy anime, as adapting light novels can be pretty tricky, and who knows, maybe I'll make a video on it soon. Though I can still say firmly that the amount of great unique anime has not faltered, with us getting great shows every season, give or take a few. You know what? I just hope that these lazy anime become less and less successful over time, because then, like it or not, that is the only way we could actually have more and more fantastic anime opposed to more and more lazy anime. Moral of the video, don't watch Sword Art Online, go watch Overlord, it's way better in comparison, goodbye. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, do subscribe, and today's cool thing of the day is the Harry Potter anime knockoffs video by Mother's Basement. Because I must say, he did a way better job about talking about that exact same harem we see in every anime with the tag than I ever could. So do give that video a watch, it'll be worth your time. So that being said, I'm the RPG Monger, and don't forget that each and every one of you are fantastic.